You are now in the realm of enlightenment and transformation.
Welcome to Chief Speaks.
All music performed and produced by Yuya.
Enlightenment comes from allowing yourself to journey through the dark shadow of death, the primordial abyss of wisdom's waters. For it is the treasures and mysteries that lie waiting in the dark that transform us and propel us to a new enlightened state. One should never aspire to live in the light nor the dark, but should journey between the two in order to evolve the overall reality into a self-actualized creation. Knowledge is your light, as wisdom is your darkness. The bold interplay of the two in your life leads you to an enlightened understanding of yourself and the universe you've created. Male is your enlightenment, female is your transformation, child is your evolution. Woman, accept the light into your darkness, so it may enlighten you. Man, go bring your light boldly into the darkness, so that it may transform you. Enlightenment and transformation.
I love you so much because you just don't know what you've just done for me. Thank you so much.
Wow. Okay. This is like the best call I've had in ages on BTR.
So this show was meant for me to be able to hear today, and I'm so thankful.
That's his home.
Therefore, now a new pathway has now been cut in order to get to the Almighty, where there may not have been one. So the communication with them, if they have enough power and strength to talk to us, the communication will be very clear.
That's one of the reasons I don't get into the current events thing too much, because it starts to become a perpetual alarm clock that we just keep hitting snooze on. I speak to the ascended masters, quote unquote. I talk about spiritual stuff, but I also speak about some very practical, we can do today things.
Be as natural as you can be with your spiritual. You can't always go by your feelings, because your feelings are corrupted. Your feelings are just as corrupted as everything else, your chakras and everything else. You got to know what's beyond you, and that's why we have elders. We can't do everything. You can't get everything out of books or weekend certification. You can have the most powerful, ancient, oldest, most, as far as you know, truthful tradition in your hands. And if you still have a dirty spirit, you're not going to get anything out of it. You're not going to learn anything. You're not actually going to grow. I try to teach in a way where I make myself obsolete. That's always been my goal, to make myself obsolete.
I really wanted to, kind of big you up. I think you're awesome.
There's a lot of elders out here right now that want to know what's going on. They're not getting on Twitter and stuff like that, but they want to be up on the new stuff. Sit down and have some conversations with them. It's not always about hearing their story. It's also about being news reporters for them and letting them know, like, yeah, this is what's happening right now. They may tell you something about what happened in Charleston that you couldn't even. Your spirituality has to create sane spiritual family. Okay, and that family exists first inside of you. You have to express the different expressions of that rainbow coalition of spirits inside of you first. Okay, don't let communities hijack that rainbow. The problem is when we come into the conscious community, the dudes are doing the same thing that the women are doing.
I just want to say that I really enjoy your show every Sunday, and my friend and I call it going to church. When we call in, we'll be like, you going to church? And I'm like, where have y'all been at?
God cannot go against its own truth. So anytime you have an inkling that God is going against its own truth, then God is no longer behaving as God. So therefore, the spiritual community doesn't recognize God. You dig where I'm coming from? Or can we have a new thought? Can we step outside of the books for a second and have a new conversation about hair weaves and wigs? Can we have a new conversation about homosexuality? Can we have a new conversation about vegan eating? We doing all right. It's a good day for an exorcism.
347-945-7680. Call in and let's build.
Greetings, peace everyone, and welcome to Chief Speaks. As you all know, this is the last Sunday of the month. So the show is live, which means you can call in with your questions or comments. We're not doing readings or anything, but you are welcome to share. And I'm your host, Kim, and we also have on the panel today, Sister Taya. I'm going to go ahead and bring her in, and Brother Zach. Zach Latimer. Peace. Zach, are you there?
Brother Zach in the house.
All right.
All right. Zach always brings us in with something. How are you all today?
How is everybody today?
Beautiful,
awesome.
beautiful.
Awesome. I feel like I've been away for so long. I wasn't, on the show last month, so it just feels like so new to me today.
Well, welcome back. Did you get the crystal? That's what I want to know.
Did I get the crystal? No, because y'all
didn't
didn't show up to
ground?
help me. You saw how big that thing was.
See, we didn't get the memo
best.
until Chief told us. So you didn't tell us because you wanted to hog it. See, and you didn't want to share.
That's right.
This is community, isn't it?
Let me tell you, I wanted to get that crystal so bad you have no idea. That thing was huge. Huge. I wanted that crystal though. I really and truly did. That was really a fun little excursion for me while I was doing the crystals class-based webinar. Was to actually, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go and take some footage of an actual crystal mine and do a tour and everything. So actually, I'm gonna upload some of that footage to the class a little bit later, so you all can see it. But yeah, that was really fun. I tried my best to get that crystal out of there, but it was just embedded too deep in that mountain.
Oh man! So the next person gonna come along and gonna try to scoop it up.
Right.
Dang.
Somebody else is gonna get that $10,000 crystal.
I wouldn't be mad at you if you missed again this Sunday.
Okay.
So,
where is it at? Let me tell me. I don't know.
I'm going back. I will go back. I'm going back. But I did get some other really nice ones, but they weren't as big as that. But yeah, I definitely wanted that crystal, I tell you. So what's on you all's mind today? Let's see, we do have some callers on the line. I know we were going to go over this month's theme, which was new gods versus the old gods. How did you all like that particular topic for the month?
It was great. Everything seems to be very timely. And for me, there's always so much that comes up in the shows. But what stuck out for me was the fact that words matter. And I think we often forget that. And Chief talked about, the oral culture of the Dogon people and a lot of other ancient people as well. And it's why we have all these secret societies, and it's why it's so hard to find. A lot of us want to jump into like the big rituals and things like that. And you can't find stuff like that because they made sure they concealed that so it didn't get into the wrong hands. And so that was a really profound piece for me.
Yeah, that Dogon show was really heavy. There was so much information packed in that segment. I mean, I got to go back and listen to that one like maybe 2 or 3 more times, maybe more. Yeah, but that did stand out a lot to me as well, Taya, about the secrecy of it all with the Dogon, because I actually have the book, The Pale Fox, which was about these 2 French guys that went in to study under the Dogon, and they actually had to live with them for so many years before they could get any information, and they still didn't really get the good stuff. You know what I mean? So they were very secretive and very protective of the information that did get out, which is the reason why, that particular culture is still so strong,
Absolutely.
So, yeah, definitely. Zach, what do you think?
Man.
It's about to get deep.
Right.
I can't express enough. First and foremost, Chief is my man in the 100 grand. I mess with Chief the long way. Pause, but I'm just saying, like Chief, when I just sit back and I kind of just soak in from the beginning of January to where it's building up to, and it's just kind of like when I look at it, it's like there's a big web out there.
Right.
And I'm going to break down this whole web to you. And I'm going to show you which ways that you can get caught. And if you get caught here, then you're going to get stuck there and you're not going to grow. And you're not going to become this God on earth. So if we look at success and progress, well then, what does that look like? You define success and progress. But you're only a failure if you get out of your purpose. So then now, how do you start to find? You need to find that first. And then you're successful moving there. Now, who's to say you're going to finally make it, but you just build on the step that's left. And you got to go through this humility. Can you humble yourself, just like you were saying with this door and these different communities? You may have to learn from an 8-year-old. Can you humble yourself for just for a second?
Yes.
To say, you know what, I don't know, and I'm going to have to learn from this person so I can start to grow and I can build. And then what do we do? Then we jump to acceptance. Can you accept the truth about you? Can you accept that you probably got hoodwinked at some point in time? Or is you going to let your ego start to guide you and tell you, nope, I know this, I know what's best, and now you're not going to learn, and you're not going to grow, and then you're going to stay stuck in this part of the web. And then he broke it down into race. You pick this, you pick this color, you pick these are the tools that you have, these are the tools that you came down here with. Now, what are you going to do with these tools that you picked for this community? And then we broke it to a new life and told you this is where it came from. These are the different aspects from the north and the south and the east and the west, and this is the middle, and we're going to put it all together. And then when you can finally gain and grab these concepts, then it's almost like when he said it in one show, it's the spiral. And when you're spiraling up and you ask for the aspects of your research, you get the aspects of this, and then give me your mind, give me your wit. But then once you get the mind, then they grab onto you, and then you take it to another level. Thus, now you start to becoming, you should expand, what he said, expand that calabash. You expand your mind, you expand the universe, and you start to transition and become a God on earth, which when he said it, I think, on the last show, is when your mission is not to become a God. Your mission is to go beyond it. But when you go beyond it, to me, it's like you naturally become it. So if you go beyond, like it's like getting stuck. Are you going to get stuck in first or second grade? Or if you're going to go beyond it, well, then you naturally, you already passed that. You graduated from that. Now what's next? And it's almost like when he lays it out, these are the spots that people can get stuck at. And if you don't get stuck here, and if you can finally see what it is, well, then now you get the good stuff. That's what he would say. You're going to get it's not all going to come from a book. It's not all going to come from one person, but if you really can just humble yourself, accept where it is, and that's when you can start to become a God on earth.
Right. I think that I'm glad you. Thank you for the whole year.
Yes.
Yes.
We've been on the phone for 15 minutes and Zach took us to church already in 15 minutes.
All of that down. Thank you. But
thanks, Chief.
Yes, give thanks. But I wanted to build on something you said, and this is that really stuck out with me as well, is that when he said the goal is not to become a God, because throughout my journey through this whole little spiritual, this spiritual transformation, it seems like a lot of us may get stuck, like you said, get stuck at the point, when we come into these traditions, we realize, okay, we're gods that fell to earth and we got to rise back to that position. And the way Chief explained it was, the aim is not to become a god. If that was the case, you wouldn't have fell to earth, as a human. So him saying the goal is not to become a god, that just really hit me really strong, because I find that a lot of people want to escape their humanity and to just go straight back to being a god again, not understanding that there's a mission and a reason why they were sent here on earth. And another thing he brought up was that those that we revere as God, I think he used the example of Haile Selassie, like these people did not know, they didn't claim to be a god. They didn't say I am a god or anything like that. People revered him as a god, but he was just being himself. And that was so deep to me. It's like, if we can really just accept who we are and just, be sold out on your purpose and just be yourself. you know, like you said, you can accomplish so many things, but I think it's like we get caught up in these Orisha or these angels or Natir or whatever it is, and we try to be like that. You know what I mean? Instead of just being ourselves and doing what we do. And so other examples he brought up was like Muhammad Ali. You know, he was just sold out on his purpose. He wasn't trying to become a god or some, you know what I mean? He wasn't trying to be that. He was just being Muhammad Ali. And as a result, we had people that, you know, revered him as an Orisha or a god or, you know, whatever, what have you. But it wasn't a conscious effort like, I want people to see me as a god. You know what I mean? Because what is a god? What does that mean? So, yeah, that really, really hit home with me, that, you know, the goal is not to become a god.
Yeah, those are some great points. And go ahead, Zach.
I was just going to say it was, and you could just listen to the intro. And if you just replay the intro, you can really soak up so much. I mean, brother, just be as natural as you can be with your spiritual self. Don't try to be like this person. I'm not going to try to be like this. I'm just going to, the only thing that I really know how to do is be myself. It's the only thing that I really can succeed at. It's the only thing that I can excel at because everybody else is taken. So why don't I be myself? But if you really, and just when you bring up Muhammad Ali stood on his principles. He stood on his convictions of what he was about. So now that's what the whole, to me, a new spiritual training is about, is who are you? Do you know who you are? Because if you don't program your mind will be programmed. And somebody will be more than happy to download in your mind and tell you who you are and tell you your limits and tell you what you can do and tell you what you can't do. And I want to say it was Brother Charles who said that the last time. He was like, being without a culture is like being without a banana with no peel. So now you're susceptible to the elements that are outside, so that whatever somebody tells you, then that's what you start to take on. But what do you think? And that's what the whole system of a new is. I'm not going to tell you what to think. I'm just going to show you how to think. I'm going to show you how to question. I'm going to show you how to look at this and be an analytical and critical thinker and start to break. Don't just use words and terms and throw them out there and say, I'm just supposed to know what this is. Let's break this word down and see what if it actually means what I think it's supposed to be. And if it doesn't, then when I have to lose that from my vocabulary, I'm going to go a different direction. But when you start to think, well, then all of a sudden that you're going to start to ask, it leads to a question. You get an answer, but then that's probably going to lead to another question because now it's going to, because you just want to make sure you get clarity on something. And then when you ask different questions, well, then now you're going to get different answers. And then when you get better answers, now that you get, you start to become a better person. And when you start to do this, then you start to evolve. And you become enlightened and transformation. That's when it comes along.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And that's.
Hang on just a second, Ty. I think we have. Oh, well, they hung up. I thought this may have been Charles or somebody trying to call in. Wait a minute. Okay, they're back. Let me see if this is Charles. It may be. I'm not sure. Okay. Peace. 510.
Greetings.
Oh, greetings. Okay, this is the call. Greetings. I thought this was our other co-host here. Welcome to G Speaks. I see you've had your hand up for a while. So did you have a question or comment you wanted to share?
Well, first of all, I'd like to introduce myself. And thank you all for being there. My name is Star, and I'm one of the newest students for the last 4 months. I've come in and listened, and I've enjoyed hearing your conversations over these months. And this new gods versus old gods is something that has really touched my spirit in being in the classes and, going through the process as a student in India New Nation is really taking on a new dynamic for me. So the new gods versus the old gods has really come home and understanding that Ogon, starting to get an understanding of the Sirius A, B, and C that Chief spoke about, and that the theme of the fish, Yemen Yah, is the Isis, But more than anything, the definition and defining of who we are and who I am has come to full focus through these teachings. And that is knowing that I come from deep waters. I am the deep waters. Women, the sisters, we are the Sibyls. We are Mami Wata. We are Yeminya. We are Oshun. We tend to get lost because our waters are so deep. And this resurrection of the new gods, the new goddesses, is bringing that up, almost like an earthquake. It's like an earthquake. It's like a flood that comes forth, and so things are out of balance that are starting to become imbalanced, and that's what I'm beginning to see because of the fact that we are. Well, from my perspective, I know I'm the mistress of the gods, and understanding that is knowing that it's built in us. It's not something that I had to, I've come to the knowledge because of understanding where I am from the perspective of the Yoruba. Knowing who you are, being lost, knowing that the way was deliberately held away from us, that we're starting to find the pieces and put things back together again is the most dynamic aspect of these teachings that I'm learning. And so I came in to say thank you all for being there. Your laughter has been medicine to my spirit. At times in this journey over the last 4 months, it has been dark, deep waters. And that's who I am. So the revelation of that has been so profound in knowing that I am the elements. We are the elements. We're the moving elements. That's a deep revelation. The fact that we are learning to get back to ourselves through these teachings. When Muhammad Ali said that he held handcuffed lightning and threw thunder in jail, that we hold the principles. And so I just wanted to call in and say that the gods versus the goddesses are profoundly prevalent in my spirit today. And thank you all for being there.
Well, thank you so much, Star, for calling in and sharing. Again, Chief emphasizes that if you are a student, like me, Taya, and Zach don't have to do this every last Sunday of the month. All students are welcome to call in and share what you're learning or to, give a testimony. So it's not like, we're not like the permanent hosts here. But so often, like a lot of the students are, a little shy or don't want to share. But that's how we learn. We learn from each other through, by sharing and bouncing ideas off of each other. So thank you, Star, for calling in and sharing your testimony. Okay.
And just like you said, we don't have to do it again. I know I'm redundant, but
no,
I want y'all to really get. This is why. Chief is my man. All right. Like I don't think people. If you really sit down, I want you to try to put together something for an hour and just stand there and talk in front of a computer or a video camera and break that down for an hour. And not have a specific book that you're pulling from, not have a specific this or a specific that where you just keep coming back to this same spot. And you have to peel and then be consistent with it. Not just, okay, I'm going to show up 1 month and then I'm going to take this month off and then I'm going to come back. Like this is not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing, and these are free offerings. And I was just happy that when he was on the phone, not that we didn't miss you, Sister Kim, but when he was on the phone, like, here he is right here, y'all, call in. This man has so much knowledge. Take advantage of it while it's here, because you don't know when it's going to be gone. And if he's here, then if you just want to call in and just give him a shout out, just say, I just want to be on the line just to say, greetings or thank you or whatever. Just do that, man. Just don't be shy. Don't be ashamed. just give some love, man.
Right. I totally agree, because a lot of times when you're doing this work, it's, you know, like you said, it's kind of a thankless work, because you have so many people soaking up the information and reselling it. But, you know, people just, you know, they just never say thank you. And, you know, like you said, Zach, we have over 400 shows done. Over 400. And it's so much information in all of those shows. Like you said, it doesn't hurt to, you know, we may not, you know, you may not be a student, but you can call in and just, you know, give thanks. I have heard other people regurgitating things from Chief's shows, you know, and I'm sitting here thinking, you know, this person could at least call in and say thank you, or say, you know, I heard this on, you know, from Chief right. something like that. But it's like we have this selfishness when it comes to knowledge. It's like that's just not how it works. You know, we want to hear it. We don't want to tell anybody else where we got it from. I'm not going to tell you, you know, try to pass it off as our own stuff. But, I mean, like you said, there are over 400 shows. There's so much in them. And like you said, he's consistent. Like, we keep coming back every month, and it's just expanding. You know, I have the community show now every Tuesday and Thursday. Zach, you have your show right and exact. I mean, it just keeps expanding, and there's room for everybody, which is why, you know, we started a new lifeglobal.org, which Taya is the organizer. So again, guys, if you're listening, reach out to Taya so that, you know, you can lend your talents. You can come aboard. This is not, nobody, like you said, he's not trying to create disciples or, you know, everybody all hail Chief and just have little minions running around. He is openly sharing this information and trying to reach out and help those who want to be helped and want to put in that work. And nowadays you just don't get that from a lot of people. It's very rare. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, and the thing is, if you ever have a conversation with it, it's one thing to have a conversation with somebody who feels like, yeah, I did that. You know, they want their name to be thrown out there. They want to have the glory. They want to have all of this. And he just wants you to be a better person. Genuinely, sincerely, from every inch that of his body that he speaks from, you can just feel it. You can feel that I'm going to just give you whatever the medicine that you need, and sometimes it's a potent medicine that you don't want to swallow at that particular time. You're going to fight it. But again, though, I'm going to find out, I'm going to dissect, and I'm going to get surgical with this, and I'm going to tell you where it is, and then now you can take it or leave it. But the brother is just so giving, man, and it makes it very easy for me. Like, man, you say his name because the brother is that thorough. And I mean, whatever you want to say, I don't care, but just have one conversation with him and then have some more conversations with him. And it's very easy to say, you know, I don't want to create no meanings, but you know what? If you emulate him, I'm telling you, your life will start to change. Just, and it's not one that, you know, be like me and do this and do. Nah, just, you know, be you, be your natural self. But if you don't really know what that looks like yet, well, just emulate the teacher, and then you'll start to figure that out.
Absolutely, yeah, because you become a reflection of that which you put your attention to. So if you're studying the courses and you're working with Chief one-on-one, you begin to reflect that. He alluded to something like that in the last student segment that we did, that everyone who's drawn to this show is somewhat a reflection of who he is. And so because he is so selfless and he gives so abundantly, then that is absolutely how each of us, you know, should be walking and giving thanks back and sharing information as well. And I know for me, it's a game changer. I'm an Osiris Life student. I have been for over a year now. My life was so upside down and chaotic before I took that step. And the price that it costs to be a student is peanuts. I used to pay $10,000 a year for a coach. I'm paying $150 a month for Chief, who has changed my life in ways I can't even begin to share. So I'll do this any day of the week. You know, you just need to really understand how to relate all of the teachings back to you. And to what the caller was saying, and even what both you, Kim, and Zach was saying earlier, it's like you have to know what your purpose is. And in order to know what the purpose is, you have to be able to take in the teachings. Now, Chief will give us things sometimes in a way that doesn't feel so good for us because he tries to shake us up a little bit to talk to the soul level so that we really begin to take it in and understand it. But it's hard if you don't know how to find the purpose and apply it to really understand how to choose the right words, you know, what resources you need to be pulling on, and all of these other mindsets and things we do all the time. Like we say things like I think, I believe, I hope, you know, when it rains, it pours, you know, and all these things carry these horrible vibrations that we've just been doing from generation to generation to generation. And it's like we miss that there's that trinity of strategic planning, that think, say, do. And that say piece is so critical. So shifting that consciousness to I am, I know, I will, I have, you know, just has a whole different outcome than being someone who hopes. So the words definitely matter.
They definitely matter. Definitely. I find myself all the time trying to be, you know, being very, now it's a little bit more natural, but I still kind of trip up sometimes and say, depending on who I'm speaking to. And I was speaking to someone who does not, you know, understand when I say good dawning or you know, peace or whatever, but it just, you know, it just came out, you know, I just, and they totally ran right over it. They didn't catch it or anything, you know, so it's just, you know, a testament to how people say things completely unconsciously, like, and it's not genuine. You know, if I say good dawning, it just goes right over their head. Or if they say hello, it just, you know, it just comes out. You know, it's not even something that they think about or pause to say, what did you say? You know, what does that mean? You know what I mean? So it just goes to show, like, how careless we are with our words and how we can curse ourselves just, you know, unintentionally all the time. Yes. And after doing that for so many years, think of how much you've built up. Just, you know, how much you are defeating yourself. You know, just with
all
the
those
words
toxins.
that you say. Yeah,
all those toxins, and you have to purge it all. And he talked a little bit about that as well. You know, you get things in your system, but then you have to figure out how to, like, really, really purify the system. And when you have those years of just craziness and all the talking that we do without even being conscious of it, you got to get that out of your system.
Okay, we've got another caller. Oh. I'm sorry, Zach. Can you? We got another caller from 314. 314, you're on Chief Speaks.
Good morning,
Greetings.
everyone.
Greetings.
Yes, I'm calling in. I live in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
St. Louis.
I've been listening to Chief Yuya for about a year or so on YouTube. And last night I was watching the one with Earth Magic, and he mentioned Nate on the show. And I watched the other half this morning, and I was just deciding if I wanted to call in because I missed most of his radio shows. I have them programmed in my phone. But I usually listen to a different show at 10 o'clock on Sundays, and I was just calling in to see just, he got so many websites to show. If I could speak directly to you, it could give me more enlightenment on just like the process of just like becoming a student.
Okay.
That's what I would.
Okay, so the school, everything is under Anu Nation, but the school component of Anu Nation is SaduluHouse.com. That's SAD as in dog, ULUHOUSE.com. So you will always, always, always go to SaduluHouse.com to sign up for any classes or trainings that we may have. All the classes, all the webinars, the training, the priesthood training, everything is there on that site.
And the training, just if I can piggyback on that a little bit, Kim, for the caller, the training that you hear us, the students, talking about is that phase 1 training on Sadulu House.
Right.
So just to wrap some perspective around that as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, does that help a little bit?
Yes, I had I did it twice. It was some months ago I did it and it didn't come up, and then I did it again more recently, and I was able to see, like, it was some clips on all the different orishas.
Okay, that's the free course.
Okay.
There's a free course.
Is that where you start?
That's where it is.
Phase.
You're in the right place. There's a free course there on the Orisha. And the training that we're speaking of, like Taya said, is our new spiritual training phase 1. You can also find it on the same website.
I'm going to ask you this, too, sister. You said you watched half of the show last night and the other half this morning. What did you do, take a cat nap on it last night?
Yeah, it was in the middle of the night. I couldn't hang. I was tired.
So what did you get from it? Did you get anything from it?
What did I get from it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always get stuff. I always listen more. I listen than the words, because there's a lot of channels that got words. I listen to the tone, everything always sound peaceful, and he usually breaks it down versus just his specific, like usually in most of the videos I hear him breaking it down to like Hindu or just anything. It's just not a specific, like he going so strong on where he is, and it always sounds like he's trying to make you understand and not trying to seem so far-fetched where I'm above you.
Right.
It always make you feel more like you want to understand more, like more open.
Right.
Yeah, so I was really enjoying listening as usual. I listen a lot.
Well, we look forward to adding you to our adding you on as a student. Make sure you go to saduluhouse.com to sign up for it and join the Anu Spiritual Training Phase 1.
It's a game changer. It's a game changer.
It definitely is. But thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
Peace.
Peace.
Okay, Zach, you were saying something earlier before I took the call. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I was just gonna well, and for the sister who just called in, you know, that's one of the things about being a student is you just you listen to them and you listen to the tone, you listen to the delivery and listen to the cadence, just listen to how it goes through it. And again, just what she said, you just start to learn from it, you start to build from it. That's the first part of becoming a student. The second part of becoming a student might be to stay awake through the whole instead of falling asleep on it. But again, though, that's what kind of what y'all just said is this the change, and what he kind of built on too was just changing the game. You never want to keep doing the same thing over and over again. That's what he said when he broke down righteousness is what's doing right for the time. And you got to see that when somebody else plants their flag, which the example he gave was with what his youth was at school one day. I remember this, and he got into kind of a little skirmish. And my man stood up on him talking about, you know, who you talking to? I'm talking to you.
Right.
He's planting his flag and saying, this is what I'm about. Okay, well, you're going to still go off of your training from what you was done way back then, and you're going to say, okay, well, this is how I'm going to do it, when he's already telling you now that, well, I'm operating from a whole different system. So now what are you going to do that's right for this exact time? And if you're going to still stay stuck on where you're at, you're not going to grow and you're not going to get anywhere. So you got to be able to evolve and you got to be able to go with the flow. And if you can't, well, then you're going to get dropped.
Yeah, and that can only happen once you align yourself with nature. You know, you have to be able to feel and flow with the vibrations that are shifting all around you.
Yeah, and that's something that a lot of us may not quite get initially. Because for the most part in the West, you know, we just learn from books. We just read books, and we're always inside the house or we're inside a building when we go to work. We're always covered. We don't really interact with any of these. And so to truly understand how this stuff works, you have got to be out in the elements. You got to go and sit beside water, go for a swim, drink some water, freeze water, boil water, to really understand this, because the stories that these Orisha have are really about just different interactions with nature. So, Oshun, we know what Oshun is. And when we read stories about it, of course, they put it in the context of maybe like a relationship or a love story. But it's really explaining to you chemical processes and how fresh water reacts with iron, or what happens when you mix fresh water with iron. So you got Oshun and Ogun. What happens when when Eshu or the rock comes into contact with Oshun? Just different stories. So you got to be out in nature. You have to, be able to, like she said, I remember him saying a long time ago, you don't have to study any particular system to understand how the universe works or the multiverse works. Mm-hmm. He was like, if I just want to study leaves for, a tree or something, or a leaf for the rest of my life, I can learn everything I need to know through that leaf. So I think just being in nature and soaking up nature, that helps so much, because we're so disconnected from it. A lot of people, we don't farm anymore, so we're not connected to the earth like, say, previous generations were, when their whole survival depended on the food and the nourishment that they got from the land. We don't farm like that. We just go to the supermarket. So we don't know how things grow. We don't know how, we don't have a relationship with the sun to where we can understand it in that way. And that's what Chief has explained. Like when you get into like Europe, it's a culture. When you get into these Orisha, to truly understand it, you got to understand the culture. And that whole system what didn't originally take place here in the United States. It's specific to that culture and to that place. So we have to learn how to adapt. We gotta learn how to adapt and evolve, because water. If I'm in Nigeria and they don't, they have to walk maybe 30 miles to get clean, fresh water to make offerings with. It doesn't mean the same thing to me or you, or I can just walk in my kitchen and turn on my filter and, get clean water. Two different, this means something totally different. So it's very much a cultural thing.
I just had this conversation with a young lady I met yesterday, and she was asking me about, because I had on some clothes that I bought when I went to Ghana, and she was asking me about the experience, and she said, well, I know that they have all these herbs in Ghana and different foods, like what did you eat, what was healthy? And I said, it was amazing, because being in Ghana was like just eating an all organic meal, like everything. The food doesn't even taste the same there than it does here. My body, I could feel my body shifting and healing, my inside shifting and healing as I ate all the wonderful fruit and vegetables that I consumed while I was there. When it got to the point when I came home, I was like, what the heck am I going to eat? Because the stuff that we have here doesn't even compare to what I had in Ghana. And so it's just like you have to really develop that understanding that something as simple as shifting what you eat and studying what you eat and eating the whole piece of fruit, the seeds, everything, the skin, because it's one whole piece of information. If you separate it, then you're missing pieces. And just to charge up the pineal gland takes 2 hours every day. I try to spend 2 hours every day so that the melanin is flowing through me the way it's supposed to. So little things will help you, but being in nature is the key to figuring this all out.
Right. And that, like I said, that's a huge missing link, because in previous systems that I've studied in, they emphasized a lot of mental work. Meditation, just meditation, and visualization. meditation and visualization. And for me, I was like, okay, something is missing. It just wasn't primal enough for me. I'm like, something's missing. Like this isn't, things aren't happening, as quickly or as like they should be. I'm like, nah, something is not right. I could just feel what was missing, feel that something was missing. I just couldn't, the meditation was cool. I learned some great, and I still meditate, of course, but I could tell, like, especially going through rituals, something was missing. And another thing that I just learned from the training and going through some of the rituals and things in the training is that you don't necessarily need to go out and buy stuff all the time. Before, it's like when we do something like, oh, I need a crystal or I need a rock or something, immediately you go into the store trying to buy it, or, you know what I mean? And that
Speak
was
like,
and he's like, no, you go in nature and you get this. You interact with nature and you ask for what you need. You take it, you replace, what you're taking. It's just that, like you said, that exchange with nature, and that alone makes your rituals and your shrines so much more powerful. Because when you're buying stuff out of the store, who knows where it came from or what kind of energy is on it, So it's just that primal energy that you get when you go out into nature and you get it yourself. And I'm glad you said something about the food, too, because I was recently in a grocery store with my daughter, and we were in the produce section. And I told her, I said, you notice when you come in the grocery store and you go in the produce section, you can't even smell the food.
Right.
To me, I was just like, that is the craziest thing in the world. Like, I could not smell. You can't smell apples. I couldn't smell the peaches. I couldn't smell the greens or anything.
That's because
I was like,
it's genetically modified. There's no seeds in anything. You know how hard it is to find a watermelon with seeds? Like,
seeds in it,
can't even find it.
That was just the craziest thing. Yeah.
A lot of that, too, is they got that fried chicken over there in the produce section, too, when you walk in there.
That is so true, Zach.
They're bringing you over there to that meat. Come over here and get some of this. You don't want to eat that.
That is so true.
And another thing, and just what you said, like when you find that you eating organic food, you have that shifting that you can feel inside. Well, a lot of people have that shifting. Unfortunately, that shifting is called the BGs, is what some people like to say. Otherwise known as the bubble guts when you start eating some of this garbage that you start putting in. Right? But just going back on what Sister Kim just said is just like when you just said using your words and talking about, how you said dawning and, strong, which when I first came in, it was one of them that went over my head too, because I'm looking like, I listened to him, I'm like, man, what is this brother talking about?
Right.
Like, dawning? What is dawn? Strong? Yeah. Like, is he talking about, what is the day on bodybuilder? Is he like strong? Or like, I wasn't all the way in there. I wasn't saying brother. At first, I'm like, man, this fool is talking crazy. Like, what is a strong? But again, you don't know what it means. You start, but how many of us, we just don't think what we do. It's almost like it's just on autopilot. And everybody likes to say oh, yeah, I made this decision. But that decision has already been made for you when you actually step back and observe it, that you didn't really choose these words. Somebody was been able to already make this choice for you, and they defined them for you. And anytime that you let somebody define your words, well, then now they start to define who you are. And if they define who you are, well, then now how do you know who you are already? And that's why people like to try to put you in a box. When they say, okay, then, well, what are you about? Oh, well, I'm about a new. Well, what is that? Oh, I know that's what this is, so I'm going to put you over there. That's what this is, so I'm going to put you over here. Now, you can't define it. You can't put me in there because I'm evolving, and I'm going to do what's right for this time. And what's right for this time may not be right next year or next wrong. It may be something different. So that's when you keep growing and you keep evolving.
Yeah. Exactly. For all of you that are listening, I think we have quite a few callers on the line. If you'd like to make a comment or share anything, the number is 347-945-7680. And you just press the number 1 and you'll be on with Chief Speaks. So, again, we're just talking about this previous month, well, this month's topic, which was the old gods versus the new gods, and kind of some of the things that each of us took from those particular shows. And like I said, that's it. I was waiting for that series. I knew it was coming up, so that was one I was really waiting on, because like Chief also said in those shows, is that oftentimes we crystallize ourselves and our gods, if you want to say gods, we crystallize these things to where they can't change, they can't evolve, and we find ourselves trying to work with just old dead energy. This energy may be gone now, and we're completely ignoring, what we have presently that's living and breathing and that's alive right now, because we want it to look a certain way. We put our own personalities, or we put our own ideas on what we think Oshun is like. We don't look at the current examples that we have of Oshun or Ogun or whatever, because he also spoke about Kimbo Slice, Tyson, all these several Ogun and Shango energies that are currently here. And he was like, study their mythology. You want to learn about Shango? Study Muhammad Ali. Study that mythology. You don't have to try to go back to some ancient time. When Shango, it may have meant something else 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago. We have these energies that are alive and well right now. And so that ability to be able to evolve and to see it in all, to see these energies and things to continue, just watch the multiverse expand. Like, we just don't do it. We get locked in and just kind of, like I said, we kind of we put Oshun in a box to what we think Oshun is like. Not understanding that these energies evolve. What does Oshun look like today? That Oshun you have framed in your mind may not even exist.
Right.
So that was huge for me.
And I think when you look at it, you start, and big thing for me was when you look at these different systems and you look at these different books, you have to start breaking it down as into, who wrote it and what were they going through at that particular time, at that moment that they was doing for that time, so they can get through whatever they was going through, what they was doing was right at that time. And it always just stood out to me, too, it kind of, when you start to point it out, who were, or what book were some of these people referencing when they wrote these certain books? Did they have something that they were pulling from, or was they pulling from their own natural resources that they had? And then it started looking to me, well, if they can do it, well, why can't I do it? Why do I have to keep going back and doing this same thing over and over again? There was a show that he had where he was talking about I guess there was some karate or something, and the guy was doing a high kick, and the high kick was necessary to kick people off the horse.
Kick people, right. Taekwondo, I think he was speaking about the different forms of martial arts. Right.
But that was at a particular time. But now you fast forward, there's not people coming at you banging on you on a horse.
On a horse.
Like they're not galloping through your hood, and you need to kick them off to get them off of it. But that was right for the time. But if you get stuck on, I got to do it just like they did it, well, then you're going to be stuck in a time, and you're not going to do what's right for the time, and you're not going to evolve. And that's what it's saying. You can learn it. Okay, this is what you did, but now what are you going to add to it? Just like you say, you study Oshun energy or you study the Eshu, okay, learn it, see what it is, now go beyond it, because now you have to expand it. Just when you learn in the first period and the first, I want to say it was the first in the new spiritual training when it says if you was to ask the Almighty who is it, the only question you could say is, I don't know. So now it's on you to figure that out, to go beyond it. I already know what I can do. Now, can you show me what I can't do? Show me that, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that about me. Man, okay, now it expands. Now you go beyond. But if you still keep doing the same old thing, you're going to get the same results. So it's time to make go a different route or make a change.
Yeah. And I just want to add, speaking of, change and everything, transformation is an ugly process.
Right.
It's honestly, and I think about this all the time when people hear us talking about, the spiritual training and, all our experiences or whatever, but I just want to let y'all know, like, it's not super duper fun. It's not always a fun process to transform is going beyond your limits. Mm-hmm. So I think this is where a lot of us may get stuck because we don't want to feel the pain. We don't want to go through that pain of change.
Yeah.
When I think about it, I think of just the, gestation. When you're pregnant, think about how many times a baby transforms or changes its form in those 9 months. It goes through a reptilian stage. It goes through, it goes through all these different forms, and it's probably painful. You know what I mean? So it's like transformation is not a pretty thing. So for those of you that may be dealing with some of this, and you you get to a point where things seem just, really tough or really hard, or you feel like you're not doing something right, possibly you are actually now starting to transform. You just kind of got to go through it. It's not a pretty process. It's not all glamorous and just nice and neat and pleasant. So don't think that, when you come into spirituality or when you start, going through these trainings, that it's supposed to be all light and fun and beautiful. I'm Oshun. I'm Yemoja. It's not, it's not a pretty thing, because even when you realize who you are, like some of these energies, you have to remember that all these energies have a heaven and a hell. You can never escape this duality. That's what we have on this planet that we're on. You can't escape that. The EFI system is based on, zeros and ones or off and on. You can't escape it. So it's not, transformation is a painful process. So don't think that just because, when you start this, you may go through a tough time, that you're not making any progress. Because it's possibly, like I said, just that transformational point for you.
And I want y'all to realize that Sister Kim didn't say go around. She said to go through. So there is no way of getting around the process. If you just keep skipping around the process, you just sink deeper into your hell. So if you want to get through it, you have to do the work.
Yeah, and that's the hard part.
Mhm.
Which, to me, where Underground Thursday was birthed from. Like, it comes in the doing. And if you're not doing anything with the information, then why are you gathering information? So
I can sell it and present myself as a priestess or a priest. What are you talking about? That's why I'm doing it.
I be in them archives rotating. I be looking at some of this like, man, you can make a good money off of this information right there. Good night.
Now I am officially
one show.
Yeah, I'm officially a priest
itself.
or a priestess now. I'm gonna start my own YouTube channel. I'm gonna sell this information.
Man, right? Or you could just I'm giving out the keys to enlightenment. Here it goes, right here. Don't you want to know? Don't you want to better you? And then just start to take some of them points. You can take 5-6 points out of just one show and play.
You know
there you go, right here.
You know what? This is something people don't realize, too, in doing that. If this man is offering this much knowledge for free and is freely giving it, just think about the stuff that he doesn't say, that he knows.
That's right. Exactly.
That he does not share, that he does not give away for free. So don't think that, the shows and, all that, the free shows and stuff are as deep as it gets, because it's not. So, a lot of people, you may be trying to resell this stuff, but you're not going to be able to go too deep with it because, one, you got to be living it. And two, you really have to grasp the root of what you're talking about.
It's so profound. I'm so glad you just said that. Yes, because even what we talk about here as students, we're not talking about everything we do. Kim and I do a lot together. So we're not going to give you everything that we do. That comes with doing the work, and that's a whole different level of class within our news. And so Zach and Charles and Kim and I, amongst other students, are the doers, and therefore we happen to be a little bit more involved in some things that others aren't. So we aren't going to talk about that on this segment.
Right.
You know?
So if you're out there stealing information, well, just know that like that's not as people do. Like I said, people do that all the time and think that what's out there is all there is. Just when you got to think about the stuff that he doesn't say, the things that aren't free. It goes much deeper, and then and there's still more even beyond that. Yeah. So I just want to say think before you do that. That's just it's just, to me it's just wrong. I know Chief says all the time he doesn't care. He's just glad the information is getting out there, but it's wrong. Just stop. It's wrong.
Right.
And I think that's what makes it so easy for me to give the brother big ups, because he really doesn't. Like, if he's not going to say it, I'll say it for him. Like, the brother is on point. And that's why I'm like, when you have a conversation with just a little bit that, and I ain't even saying a little bit, you can stay in the archives and you can get a doggone master's degree from these archives. Like, and it takes me, like, from just listening to one show, and then I have to go back and listen to it again, and I listen to it again, and then I get about 1/10 of what he's kind of talking about. I still don't have the fullness of what everything that's in that show. When you start adding in the classes and then have a conversation with them, now you're going to start to really just open up Pandora's box, like, whoa, wait a second, brother, slow down. Let me try to write some of this down. And when you see it, it's like he's still, even if you have Osiris Life or just kind of what Sister Tyra was talking about, it's still, from the price, it's still giving it away. Like, here, take it. This is not, from what you're going to get to what and how it's actually going to change and transform your life. You can't put a price on that. You actually can't even pay for that information, actually, from what it's going to do for you. And when I just hear some people when they say, oh, well, I'm getting like a bit of feedback on it.
Okay. I think that might be your end, because you were echoing earlier there.
Yeah.
Nah, I paid a lot for this phone now. You don't try to tell me that's on mine. You trying to tell me I got a Metro? They overcharge me every month for this doggone phone. But, I mean, even looking at it like that, just looking at the different bills that you have, when I hear people that say, okay, well, as soon as I get just enough to get in here, then I'm going to do this, so I get enough. These are all excuses of why you don't want to make a change in your life. So stop making excuses. The class is $99. Like, you go out, you probably go out to eat. Your shoes on your feet probably cost
more than that.
Right now, how are those shoes or how are the clothes that you got on your back? What is that doing for you? You want to try to cover up? Right. Is this the or i.e. the other show on habits at Dasher, which is somebody who sells clothes? What are these habits that are concealing about you, but also revealing who you are at the same time? Because you're also telling on yourself, saying that you're really not about that life. That I'm just here to get a gift bag. I just want to get some goodies so I can sound like I'm just a deep one at work, and I got all these different points that I can start to bring out. But really, if you start to, when you come into a Jegna and he starts to poke at that, and let me see if you're really about this life. Now you start to tell on yourself and say, you know what? No, I'm really not about it. I got to bow down. Yeah, bow out gracefully, because I think he said that on that other show. Is if you better do it respectfully, I'll come chop your head off. Get your head chopped.
Right.
And you know what? That in itself is a gift too. Because if you come into it and then you realize, you know what, I can't do it. You learn something about yourself. You know what I mean? You can be honest with yourself and say, you know what, I thought I was ready for this. I'm really not. And maybe it's not the time. Maybe it's not the time for you. Maybe it'll make you go back and analyze some reasons why you don't want to change, or why you don't want to do this, or why you really don't want change in your life. You know what I mean? Like Zach said, maybe you just want to be the deep person in the room. But even in that, like I said, you learn something about yourself. You know what I mean? And then you can you still grow. You still grow even from that. Just realizing that, dang, when I was put to the test, like, I got a little scared, or I really, really didn't want to do this, or people that don't, put the effort in. I can't count how many people I have tried to help since coming into the class. And like Zach said, for $99, let me tell you, when I had been looking for information on African spiritual systems for so long. And when I finally found it, I think I maybe listened to one or two shows, and I was like, okay, that's it, I'm buying it. Because you're just not going to get the information, this information at this level anywhere else. And I promise you, I have looked. So I don't know, like I said, even if you finally can come to admit to yourself that that's not what you're about, at least you found out. You reveal that about yourself. So,
because here's the thing, you can't land here and not take something away. Even at the subconscious level, you're taking something away. So the fact that you got here, your soul needed something that was being offered from the show, from one of us or from Chief or whatever it is. Like, you can't really come here and not take anything away. It's not even possible.
Mhm. And I just I want to bring it back to something I was mentioning earlier, and it kind of ties into what we're saying now about, this kind of information you're just not going to get anywhere else. One of the things that I really wanted to understand, like once I got into it, it was like, you start to learn about the Orisha or whatever, and people can become just as dogmatic in this tradition as they are in Christianity or Islam or anything else. They start to worship these energies as if they're external deities, or they were people that once walked the earth. Like, they can just be just as fundamental in this as they are in any other system. But I'll share something that Chief taught me about these energies. Like I said earlier, each one has a heaven and a hell. One thing about it is, I've learned to listen to people and to kind of watch their actions. And this is something like when people say, "Oh, I'm a Yemoja energy," or "I'm an Obasala energy," or whatever it may be, they kind of fall in love with that textbook definition of what that energy is, not truly understanding what it is. Like, I've heard them say many times, if someone proclaims to be an Oshun energy or an Oshun priestess, as soon as you ask them what water is, they can't even tell you. Like, so how are you this energy and you can't even tell me what water is? So it's like, once you learn about these energies and you understand that they have a heaven and a hell, you'll start to notice certain personality types about these different Orisha.
Oh my gosh!
You'll understand people's behaviors, and then once you do that, you can truly accept people for what they are, for who they are, and not be emotional about it, not get upset about it, not you won't go there, because okay, this person is this type of energy, so this is what they're capable of. This is the kind of behavior or emotions that they'll display. When it's balanced, it looks like this. When it's not balanced, it looks like that. And when I understood that, and when Chief was teaching me this, I was like, gosh, that could have just saved me so many different friendships, relationships, people at work, everybody I interacted with. It could have saved me so much headache, because a lot of times we take it personally when people react or say certain things to us, because we're not understanding this person's energy. Like, for instance, I'll use this example because I've come into contact with it, and this is an energy that I took it personally at first. Leos, for example. Leos are associated with Obasala energies, but Leos in particular, they have it's related to the sun, so it wants to be in the spotlight all the time. It wants all the attention. It never, it always brings every conversation back to me. Me. This is what I did. This is what I think. This is what, no matter what conversation they're in, and they're not doing it purposely. They're not doing it to offend you or to shut you up or to, to do these things. That's just how they are. And so this particular, when I came into contact with this individual, or whatever, I noticed that everybody around this person would always get so upset with this person because they're like, oh God, they're so vain, they're so this, they're so that, oh, they think they know everything. It was just rubbing everybody the wrong way because nobody understood that about this energy. Yes, they have a lot of information and they're very knowledgeable and they're very smart. But when you know that about a person, you know what type of energy they are, you know where to place them. If you have an organization or if you run a business or something, you know where to put that person so that those qualities can be beneficial. So it just saves so much time. But nobody seems to understand that these energies have polarities. It's not always a positive thing. It can just it can come out in a negative way or it can come out in a positive way. So that's something that I promise you I have never read or learned in any book anywhere else. For the most part, you can, if you look for a book or something on Orisha, they all gonna tell you the same thing, and it gives you the very comical, surface level definition. And that's why, like what Taya was saying, you need to interact with the elements. You need to be outside in nature. That's one way of learning these the energies a little bit more. But you have to go beneath the surface. You have to dig a little bit deeper to understand it. And I just said, wow, just knowing that could have saved me so much headache. Just dealing with other people and with myself. Learning myself a little bit better. Yeah. Just knowing like, oh, okay, this person's a Yemoja. Oh, okay, I got you. And not taking what they do or say personally. Because more than likely they probably don't know. They don't get it. They don't understand it either. They just, it's just coming out. They can't help it. So, yeah, that was just one thing I wanted to share, one of the lessons that I've learned. And I tell you, like I said, you're just not going to get the information anywhere else. You're just not.
And what kind of something that just jumped out at me when you were speaking. When you have a conversation with somebody who, when you come in, I think it goes back to humility and acceptance. Because when you have a conversation and you feel like you know, and just when you said you asked somebody, I'm this energy, well, what is water? And that's something that when I had the first time I met Chief, and I felt like, I knew a little bit, but I didn't know, and then he asked you the most basic of questions.
Right.
We're talking about like kindergarten questions. Yeah. And then he looks at me and he's like, and I give him one of them. Anytime if I'm stumped, I give you like a huh? Like, I heard you, but I'm just trying to buy me some more time to figure out what you just said. So, and then he's looking at me and he's like, I can already see your mind go. I'm like, man, just leave me alone for 2 seconds so I can figure this out. But you have to come into an acceptance that you know what, you don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know, and and now you're gonna humiliate yourself when you start to even dig yourself a deeper trench. Then you start saying, "I'm throwing some more stuff out there that you don't even know what means." Right, and then I'm gonna just use this word, and then you're just gonna ask, "Well, what does that mean?" Here we go again, and I'm like, "Huh?"
That's what I was saying earlier. Not everyone is built up for that. You have to be ready to take it. I say this every time we do this call. Every time I do my monthly session with Chief, I'm like, I have to humble myself up.
Yeah.
Things I thought I knew a lot more about. I'm like, shit, It's so much.
Hiya! Oh my gosh! Excuse us,
and this is why they can't speak on what they do privately, right here.
I'm telling you. I am telling you, and I'll even share a little bit of that. Like Taya said, we do a lot of spiritual work together, and some other students as well. I'm telling you, I have been around people who so-called, they read, the book definition on a certain energy, and they say, okay, we're going to do this ritual. We're going to call this energy in. And, they got some honey. Let's pour out some honey. Let's do this. Oh, Oshun, say a little poem to Oshun. And then they wrap the ritual up 5-10 minutes. And then they say, I work with Oshun. I work with Oshun all the time. And it's like, how do you know that energy was present? It's like, because Ty and I have been doing some spiritual work where to get a certain energy to come, it may take you a whole day. It may take 2 days, depending on your relationship with the energy, how much you work with it. It's not that easy. Don't think that just because you say a poem to a certain energy that boom is right there. And it shows up, and you pour out some cowrie shells or whatever it may be, or you went to the river and rang a bell. Like, nah, it's not that easy. And for a lot of people, that they can't stick it out. Like, who do you know would, it's like I said, it's just not glamorous. It's not glamorous at all. I mean, and when you're called on to drop whatever it is you're doing, to perform a certain ritual for somebody, and that's something else I want to say. I don't mean to keep jumping around, but a lot of people don't get when you get a reading with Chief, or if he's doing spiritual work with you and you cancel or don't have the decency to cancel at a decent time, or you just don't show up and you keep trying to reschedule, you don't realize the preparation that goes into it to do your particular reading. This is not some Miss Cleo tarot card kind of reading.
Calling me now.
It's not like that. Like, a lot of work goes into, a lot of work goes into that. You don't know if it took 3 hours to prepare for your call or your time. And that's just how much energy that goes into your particular session, and how much, and like we said, for the price, like, you don't know what has to be purchased. You don't know what rituals need to be done prior to that person speaking to you on the phone. You don't know how long it took that person to prepare before they came, before they spoke to you. And then when you just don't show up, or just keep rescheduling, it's very disrespectful. I just have to say it. And I know Chief will probably never say this, and you all may not know it, but like I said, sometimes these rituals and things, they take a lot of energy out of you, and it can, and like I said, it can last a long time. It's not just I'm just you call me up, I'm gonna throw some shells and tell you all about it. Now, of course, Chief is much more advanced than most of us, but there's still some preparation involved. So it's just rude, is disrespectful, and like I said, just really understand what you're doing. I know, like, his prices are way too low, and that can be the reason why some people really don't take it as seriously, because they are way too low. But it's a lot of work that goes into it. A lot of work. It's not just, I'm just going to throw some shells or say a prayer or light a candle and boom, it's on. Like, it takes some work. It really does.
So you telling me he just doesn't have no cards and just flips them over?
No.
Oh, man. I thought that's what it was.
No, I mean, and like I said, I think people have the wrong idea about what readings are, and just because, like, of little services like that. I remember I was in New Orleans recently, and I was in this shop, and I think it was Marie Laveau's store. It was in the French Quarter, and so I just went in just to see just to see what was in the store, because I was just wondering. I was like, what's in here? So I went in, and they had candles and all this little stuff, just cluttered everywhere. And of course they did have a shrine in the store, but I went to the back, and this guy comes out, and he's dressed in all white and has this little turban-looking thing on his head. And he comes out, people are lined up at the door, and he's doing readings and giving consultations, and everybody's like, that comes in, what's going on? Well, I wonder what's behind that door. They create this huge, mystery and shroud, or, just around the back door. What's behind the back door?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, too often it's played up as some type of show. You know what I mean? Like it's entertainment.
Right.
You just gonna tell me, oh, I was, queen such and such in the past life, and I'm supposed to be this love goddess in this life, and everybody's supposed, I'm supposed to be rich, I'm supposed to be wealthy, I'm supposed to get, meet the love of my life next week, and da da da.
Right.
It's just not like that at all. So if that's what you're thinking,
saying, we need to get one of those 977 numbers count.
It's just not like that. It's just, and like I said, I know Chief will probably never say it, but guys, if you schedule a reading, please treat it as something sacred and take the advice that's given. If you're not going to seriously do it, just don't do it. If you just really want to hear a lot of low flowery, good feeling stuff, not to say that you won't get that in the call. I don't know, what you may get. It's different for everybody, but just be prepared to take what's given, because it's not a Miss Cleo session. It's not a 977 number. It's not just me, or just somebody jumping on the phone and, just telling you a bunch of stuff. It's not. It's a lot of energy and a lot of work that goes into it.
And I think the thing is you got to be ready for is just to clear those internal opinions that you have about yourself. Be ready to just deal with that. Because if you're not ready to deal with the internal opinion, then that ego is going to step up. Then you start to hear, and even when I go back and listen to the old Chief speaks, and he's just talking, and then people, well, no, let me tell you what I mean. No, I got you. I understand. Well, no, hold on. Then you get to cutting people off. Nah, somebody, no, he does understand, and I'm telling you what it is, and you're starting to see that this is your problem. This is why you're not getting past the spot that you're in. And a lot of times it's just, if you can't deal with yourself and deal with saying that I'm wrong, and you even have to deal with maybe that whoever taught you and told you this information, that they were wrong too. So now it just shifts your whole world, saying that, wait a second now, well, what really was I standing on? Is this truth now that I'm standing on was based off of somebody's opinion all along? And I've been doing this all day, and that's a hard thing to accept. But and if you're not ready to, well then just as you said, you're gonna get love and life from somebody else. And I see so many times I get on there, I'm looking at people talking about remove your vision blockers and get rid of this and get rid of that. You're the problem. Stop blaming other people. But why? But everybody, oh yes, let me share this. Let me do this, man. No, they're just playing to your emotions right now.
Right.
You don't want to deal with the person. That's why the first phase is ministry to self. If you don't get you right, nothing's gonna matter. You're gonna find yourself in different situations. Okay, you remove this person, you're gonna get in another relationship, but you bring in your same baggage that you had in that one. You're gonna bring it over here.
Yeah.
So until you're ready to deal with that, well, then you're going to keep dealing with the same garbage. Are you not done with just keep going in the same circle? Are you not done with infusing this, as you said, this alien culture into your culture and then wondering why you can't get ahead? Are you not tired of just your situations where you're like, okay, now I'm ready to rise above this. I'm ready to now reincarnate and become something better and go beyond? If you're not ready, well, then, subscribe to somebody who tells you, love yourself and hug yourself and tell you can make it.
And it's everybody else's fault. You mean to tell me it's my fault? Everybody else. Well, you know what? You're just an empath and you feel things just much deeper than everybody else. And you need to drop all these people around you because they're bringing all this negativity to you. and you're the one, like you're the one that has all the light, and people just can't, they don't understand it. They just don't understand you. And, and then it's constant, like I said, and then they got to keep coming back. It's just a ploy. Like, so you know what you need? You need to buy these crystals from me. You need to buy this necklace from me. And this is going to help you repel some of that negative energy that keeps coming your way. And guess what? It doesn't work. Like Zach said, you get in another relationship, you got the same problem.
It's you. It's the reflection of you. That's all it is. It's a self-reflection.
Right. But some of us
and
can't accept the fact that it's actually, I'm the problem. I am the problem. Yeah.
Right. And when you figure out that you're the problem, oh, sorry, go ahead, sister.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say it's funny because, don't think that Chief doesn't know all about our personalities. He read us on the last show and told everybody who we really are, right? But when you schedule these readings with him, or even if you just call in and ask questions, he already knows your game before you open your mouth. So
right.
He's hip to the game to know some of you just want to get closer to him. You're not really calling for information. You just want to romanticize about the conversation you're having. So you're just setting yourself up for failure from the get-go. So make sure your intent is in the right place.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up, because when he broke that down, he described me, he's talking about goof. I was about to say, you got this grasp, you got this firm grasp of the English language. You can talk about Latin, you can talk about Greek, and it's the best word you can come up to describe a brother. Hold on, we'll break that word down, brother. We break that down.
To let that out. He wasn't supposed to say that. Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, all right. We just gonna take that one today.
You ain't got no choice. Yeah, you gonna take it.
You gonna take it. That's right. You gonna take it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a beautiful journey, but like I said, you definitely have to put in some work. It's no way around it. You got to put some work in. You got to do the work on yourself, but I tell you, just like Taya, for what I've invested so far in classes or anything else I may have done, I mean, the return has greatly outweighed it, greatly. Yeah. Greatly outweighed it. And like I said, you're just not going to get the information anywhere else. I have looked, and not saying I looked everywhere. I mean, I have been through so many different traditions, because I've always been interested in culture and religion. So even as a child, like, I'm going through so many systems, but I've always wanted to learn about African spirituality. But because it is an oral tradition, you have to find somebody to teach you some of these things. You can't just get everything out of a book. But I promise you, I tried. I bought so many books. I searched. I've been through different teachers. I've been, but again, like I said, for the most part, you're only going to get surface level stuff. And you're going to spend a lot of money for that surface level stuff. You're just not going to get the breakdown that you get here. You know what I mean? And like I said, you better get it while it's available, because I'm telling you, I'll tell you right now, it's not going to be around for as long as you think. It's not. Yeah. So while you can get a reading, while you can get the class for the prices that are offered, while you can, soak up all this information, all the classes and everything, you better soak it up. I remember when I first came in, like I said, I was so overwhelmed by the information. I was, everybody that I knew that was interested in African spirituality, I was trying to help them out. Like, yo, you need to come over here, check this out. I was downloading the shows. I put them on CDs, because then they come to me with, well, I don't have internet access. So I was like, okay, well, I'll download it for you. Put it on a CD, give it to them. They don't listen to it, didn't listen to it. I'm sending out newsletters. I'm doing all this. I'm like, if you really want to know, check this out, because I'm trying to study. I wanted somebody to discuss the lessons with and everything. I'm like, you got to check this out. Never did it. Fast forward 2-3 years later, guess what? Now those same people are coming to me asking me all these questions and things, and I'm just like, wait a minute, I tried to share this with you 2 years ago. And you had, no interest whatsoever. I got dogged for trying to share the information.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's like, you better take advantage of it while you can. For those of you that are on the phone, that do know about the shows, that do listen to the shows every strong, if you're thinking about joining the class or taking any of the webinars or whatever, take them while while they're available. If you're thinking about getting a reading, take it while it's available, because who knows when they're going to be gone. And I'm telling you right now, they will be. It will be. I'm not going to say when or, how, far in the future that'll be, but we take advantage of things. We don't realize that things aren't always going to be accessible to us all the time. For whenever we feel like, we get ready to, well, I'll do it next week. Well, I think I'm about, like you said, I'm going to buy these jeans or these shoes this time. I'll get it next time. I'm going to wait for it to go on sale. I'll wait for it to go on a special. Well, I can't pay for it. I come up with all these excuses. So I'm just trying to tell you, while it's available, you better get it.
Right.
I think what you just, a big thing that just stood out, what you just said, is you don't know when the classes will be gone. You don't know when this information will be gone. But what you got to start asking yourself is, when will you be gone? When will you no longer have time to have it? So then once you start to do that, then you'll start to put in perspective, then you need to invest, like you said before, in things that will be around as long as you will be. Mm-hmm. And as far as you know, what will be around as long as you? Well, then that's the things that you should start putting your energy and effort into. And you'll start to see that, you know what, these shoes have really no value. This car, whatever these things that I'm trying to obtain, that really is it something that somebody has put in front of me and said, this is what success looks like. So once I get this, then I'll be happy. But then you get this stuff and then still are in that same rut. Or do you start to shift your focus and invest in the things that'll start to transform your life and enlighten you, and start to say, you know what, these are all just tools to get me to where I want to be. But you start to put everything in proper perspective of, okay, now, some of these things that I'm purchasing, or this purchase, is essentially worthless when you look at the whole grand scheme of things. So now you have to take a step back and look, well, do I spend $1,000 to go to this seminar? Or can I get $99 to really just sit here and work at this and work on myself for my own time and build and actually become a better person? Right. And I'm not just saying that, and I don't get it. I'm like this. I don't get any kickbacks. I don't get anything from
Thank
this.
you.
I'm just telling you because of what it did for me.
Yeah.
So I'm
just about to say that.
We are not being paid.
To say that. we did not plan this conversation in this way. It just unfolded, in this manner. But everything we're saying is 100% authentic.
Yeah. Definitely. Nobody's being paid to say anything, to say these things.
We didn't practice.
Right. We called in a few minutes before the show started.
Okay.
Right.
That's it.
So, again, I just want to announce again, if you're listening and you want to make a comment, just press the number 1. We still have a lot of callers on the line. The number is 347-945-7680. And don't be afraid. We don't know your name. We don't know your face. We can't see you. Don't be shy to ask a question. You don't learn that way. And like Chief has always said, people know a lot less than you think they do. So don't be intimidated. Right. Don't be scared to ask a question.
And that's I remember when the first time I started listening, you got to start getting over these hurdles that you have placed on yourself. And even in something as simple as we say calling into a radio or calling into this station, and you're like, well, I don't want to sound stupid, or I don't want to sound like I don't know anything, or I don't want to hear myself on the radio, but then do you not want to get over your issues and over the hurdles that you have? Do you not want to share this? Or do you want to stay stuck? Again, that goes into changing the game.
Right.
At some point in time, you got to get with that sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm sick of being here. I'm sick of doing this. Let me do something different. And if it means that I have to call in, and I may have to humble myself and say, you know what, I don't know. Can y'all enlighten me on something? And it may be a basic question. When y'all have a conversation with Chief, he's gonna ask you basic questions that you're not gonna have an answer to.
Right.
So just know that we all are on this journey. Some people are just further along than others, which is totally fine. So now just start to ask questions. But you need to first ask yourself why. Why am I like this? Why is this this? And why is this that? And then once you start answering those questions, then that'll change into now how. How did you do this? How can I do this? And how can I get to another spot? But again, that just comes with your maturity and your growth, and you finally starting to say, you know what? I'm going to take my life into my own hands. I'm going to do this. But then now you got to say, I have the power, which may be a little much for people saying, no, well, I can't possibly have power. I can't possibly have control over my own life. I'm going to keep using this whole thing of they. They are doing this to me. The man said, what man? Who is it? Like, what are you talking about? And if you can't put that in perspective, well, then now you're really telling on yourself. You're telling me that you don't know who you are. Because once you finally start to go and move in your direction and move in what you want to do, you're able to start pinpointing out, oh, this person right here, John, David is trying to hold me.
Right.
And I got to remove David. So, I mean, it just starts to get clarity, man. You got to get clarity. And then once you get clarity, then peace will start to come with this clarity. But you got to attack yourself first. As ways you attack everybody else, or you attack this they, and you attack them, and you attack. If you put that same energy and effort into attacking yourself, you'll find that your life starts to open up.
Right. And I'm glad you said something about power. Like, some people can't really accept having power, and it's honestly, I tell you, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm still amazed by it. I already know it's going to work. I know it's going to work. You know what I mean? Because I've done it, and Chief stuff works. But to see it happen and to witness it happening, sometimes I still get wrapped up like, oh, my gosh. I was just telling Taya this dawning. We were both divining on a situation. And, I had already done it like a few days before she did, and I got a certain answer. And then I was like, well, you know what? Let me check with Ty and see if she gets the same outcome. And sure enough, she got the same answer. So we both got confirmation, but it was just amazing to me because, after doing spiritual work with her for so long, and mind you, we're not in the same city. We're not even in the same state. We are hundreds of miles apart.
Not even in the same time zone.
We're not even not even in the same time zone. But the things that we've done together, and the things that Chief has had us to do has just created this synchronicity between the two of us. And like I said, we do it on a regular basis. So when I divined on it, like I said, she wasn't doing it at the same time at that moment, but she did it this dawning. She was like, I got the same thing. She's like, I got this, I got this. I was like, oh my gosh. So it's like, I'm still amazed at it. And sometimes that power, like just knowing that you have the power to say, even just divine on certain situations and get an answer back immediately. I don't have to pay somebody $100 to get a reading and ask, should I do this or should I do that? No, because guess what? She taught me how to do that in phase 1 of the training. I can do it myself. You know what I mean? And I remember that was one of the reasons I even joined the class, is because one of the shows I listened to before I signed up, I remember Chief saying, some people tell you got to be in this thing for 50 years, 30 years, whatever it is, before you can even divine for yourself. And he was like, we don't have that kind of time. We ain't got that kind of time. And plus, we have different technologies now. You know, we don't have to do things like they were done in the old days. And I was like, that's all I needed to hear. So when I got into class, I was like, that was one of the things I wanted to learn, because I had found that, you know, with other teachers that I had, like if I had a question about something, you know, I'm under your tutelage or whatever, so to speak, but every time I need something, I got to come back and pay you. Like, what kind of power is that? If I got to keep paying you or coming back to you, you know, to ask questions about a situation or something that I'm in, I'm like, that is not power. I'm still dependent on somebody else. And on top of that, dependent on their interpretation and everything else. So I got to put a complete blind trust in this person, you know, and you know, just go on belief that they're what they're telling me is true. And I was like, that to me, that just wasn't power. You know what I mean? I'm like, I need to learn. I need to know how to do this for myself. And so that, you know, divination, that's one thing that you learn in just phase 1 of the training. You know, you learn how to divine on certain things for yourself. You don't have to, you know, and he'll say that all the time. He does not advocate you coming to him for a reading every other month. It's not going to happen. Like, I've only had one reading with Chief. That was 2 years ago. And I'm still working on the things that he told me in that reading. So, again, I hate to keep harping on it, but yeah, I mean, you're just not going to get it anywhere else. We've got a couple of callers, guys. We have about 20 minutes left in the show for all of the listeners out there. So if you want to make a comment or anything, make sure you press the number 1. I'm going to go to 813. 813, you're on with Chief Speaks.
Hey, greetings. How you doing, family?
Greetings.
This is Brother Anwar.
Peace, Anwar. What's going on?
Brother.
What's going on? Zach and Zach. Hey, I've been appreciating the shows that you've done also, Zach.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's been good.
I'm doing a roaching.
Yeah, man. It's great, man. I've appreciated both of those. Ethics was a serious thing. Dealing with character, and even with Chief, even how you related to what Chief said about honesty and honorability and being honorable. Those conversations are definitely needed for everybody.
Right.
Now, like even on my experience with everything, our new nation, enlightenment, transformation, I'm still waiting to get into the Sadulu House portion of it, especially taking those trainings. But from all the information that I've gotten from the shows, a lot of people don't see the value in them. I see value. I see a very big currency in it, and I've consumed a lot of the information. Chiefs helped me think about even my own manhood and how I conduct myself. You know, I've learned a lot from Chief. You know, so anything dealing with prices, that's just a small fee in personal investment that people do, and it's small. The awards of this whole of the mind state and the lifestyle is a greater reward than just the basics. Because I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine that spent like $10,000 to receive their Orisha. And the house, the house doesn't even teach her. They don't teach her anything. They don't teach her how to use the Delagoon. She's complaining, and I had to tell her like this: is like you received the tool, and hopefully she got it. You received the tool, so that investment for that tool, you got to look at it as that. But Ovatala never really sat there and waited for somebody to do something. He was the one working last before he sat at the table. So Ovatala has been working. So I told her the story like that, and I hopefully went through because she feels like she needs someone to teach her, and I'm like, yeah, that's good, but you got to take the steps forward to it. Just like me, I ordered a reading with Chief. But I'm preparing for that reading. I'm doing work for that reading. I'm trying to get the things the energies that I'm going to need for the next couple of weeks, put those things into effect. And if it wasn't for Chief really kind of breaking it down in all the videos he did, I wouldn't have thought that. I would have probably been at the place where let me do the Ebo, let me do the ritual, and then everything's gonna come to me. And that's probably one of my things that I've been aware of for a while is just making sure I follow through and finish what I start. Mm-hmm. So Chief just brought a lot of light to me for that. That's really all I got to say. And I say thank y'all. Thank y'all. Everything. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. And I'll give you a tip for your reading. Download you an app right now to record it.
Right. I already had that planned out, man. I'm gonna record all into my I'm a studio engineer, so I got a studio at my house, and I'm just gonna record it all down.
Make sure you record it, because I'm telling you, I still listen to the reading that I got 2 years ago just to listen to it over again, because now that I've so much more and I know a lot more, some of the things that he gave me at the time that I didn't understand at the time, I get it now. So it just continues to unfold, and I'm so glad that I had a recording and wasn't just taking notes, because like I said, some of the words that were used, he gave me certain odus, like I wouldn't have remembered it. Two, like I said, now that I have a little bit more knowledge, it means a lot more to me. So make sure, take notes, and make sure you're recording the call.
Right. My best experience on recording your readings too is that the fact that, like, if you're trying to write down while you're doing your reading, sometimes as the reading is going through, you're missing things. So just recording it and being into that essence of that reading and opening yourself to the things that you need to do is going to help the process a lot better. Mm-hmm. So, and then on top of that, once you have a recording, you can go back and write down what you need to write down.
Right.
So, But I'm gonna tell you like this. Once I get this thing done, I'm gonna get the most warlike, grindy, down south trap music beat, and I'm gonna put it right underneath it. All right. I'm gonna jam that. I'm gonna jam that thing. I swear to God, I'm gonna jam that thing in the house so loud.
That's right. Gotta amplify it.
Amplify it, man. Make it resonate, man. Make it resonate.
Right.
Right. Congratulations on your reading, and thanks for calling in and supporting Anwar, always.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Okay.
Odapo.
Peace. Odapo.
Peace. Yeah, that's something that what he just spoke about is just the two, like, manhood, and how many guys actually know what a man is.
Yeah.
Even when, or if you ask a woman, you just say, "Oh, I'm a woman." Okay, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
When did you become a woman? Right. And then you get these, and I've gotten answers like, "Oh, when I had my child." So if a girl has a child at 14, she's a woman now.
Right.
Then we think, but these are things that you just start to clear up, man. You got to start to define what these things are. And then when you can define it, you start to move through the world differently. You carry yourself differently. And you just know it's not. We're out of that stage where you're talking about get rid of belief. I don't believe it. I don't believe that I can, I know this is what I am. This is what he said with Muhammad Ali and that firm greatness. And when you affirm it, then you start to become it. If you start to tell you this is where I'm at, well, then your body will start to follow. Your actions will follow. But you got to know who you are. You got to define this stuff. And even when you talk about going off and then you dealing with others, which is something how I kind of found Chief, is I was getting some stuff done, and it was like $500. I'm like, man, hold on, man.
Right.
And that's why even another thing is you can be careful of when people are used to calling with these dream interpretations. You got to be careful of who you telling this dream to, because somebody can set you up for the old day. And this is a hustle waiting to happen. Like, oh, man, you better, I'm going to tell you what that means. That means that death is on your doorstep. And if you don't do this right now, you better get it. I mean, how much is it? $600.
Just like he just said, some girl paid $10,000 or whatever for her initiation and knows absolutely nothing. Now you're looking for a teacher. And Chief broke that down once before, like, people don't understand what initiation means. Like, if you're initiated into that house, you're supposed to be in that house. Somebody in that house is supposed to be teaching you things. So now you paid $10,000. You got some beads and some shells, and now you don't have a clue what to do. You got no lessons. You probably, I guarantee it. I know. I don't even have to ask. I know you didn't understand half the stuff that was going on in the ceremony. I know you didn't. Because I mean, yeah, it wasn't explained to you. And now you got $10,000 for what? For what?
Just to say you did it. Just to say that's what I did. But again, and that's that whole show that you just was talking about on initiation when he came in, which, by the way, was a hilarious when he was at the little piece when he just ended it. He was like, "I'm Chief Yuya," like it was the end of the show, and you kind of came like, "Okay."
That's right.
Y'all go back and check it out, y'all. Y'all know when he finishes, it's kind of like, oh man, this dude ain't playing. But like, this is the thing. You can't, like, even the information that you're getting, y'all need to understand that you can't put a price on that stuff. So somebody comes along and starts, they're making a living off of this, and this is what they do. So then, they're gonna start to charge you astronomical numbers. Y'all got to start seeing through this stuff, man. Know that you in the class, I made my own stuff. This is what you do in the class.
Exactly.
So then now you do it for yourself. You don't have to depend on somebody else telling you, oh, every time you got an issue, I got to keep calling you. Nah, because then this is hustle 101. No, I'm gonna do it myself. This, even when you look at grasping the root of the divine, I'm going to show you how to do your own reading for yourself. So you stop getting dependent on somebody else. But even then, when you see that, you still think, oh, nah, I ain't doing that.
It ain't
this person's still right.
I ain't right. But, I don't trust myself.
Right. But it's something about when you get introduced. There was a line in the Applied song that said, I introduced her to real and now she hate lames. When you get introduced to somebody who is real, somebody who is authentic, somebody who really knows what they're talking about, you'll start to hate these other lame people that come along talking this same rhetoric BS that you have already heard, and it's not getting you anywhere. And they're not offering you any solutions. They're just giving you these, this is this. Okay, but it seems like people have been doing that and it's not working. Why is that not working? I went to a lecture one time and the dude was just saying all of this stuff, and I'm like, come on, bro. So I just asked, like, why? It seems like we've been trying this and it's not working. Why? Can you give me some practical things? Well, that's a personal thing that you would have to take it. What? No. That ain't gonna work. And then everybody's just sitting there shaking their head though, like, right. He ain't saying nothing. Are y'all not listening?
That's the people with getting their flags planted over their heads and not even knowing that that's what's taking place. It goes back to what we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Right. And you just want to shake people like, wake up, man.
Yeah. Exactly.
Blindly believing in something and not, like Chief said, like we're talking about the show New God versus Old God. They have made that person a god. And like you said in the show, God is always this influential force that you can never grasp. You can't touch it. You don't know where it is.
Right.
You know, but you let it completely control and run your life. But you can never touch it. Is it there? It's always there. It's always watching over me. Don't really know for sure. But you have given this person that much control and power over you, or this invisible energy. You've given it that much control and power over you. And like I said, for me, when I just knowing that I had power and that I have power is like, that's just priceless. That's priceless to me. It truly is. We've got another caller from 615. 615, you're on Chief Speaks, and we've got about 5 minutes left, guys. So if you have a question, make sure you raise your hand. Peace, 615.
Greetings, everyone.
Greetings.
Greetings, brother, with the bass.
That's good. Well, I was calling to give y'all thanks for what y'all doing. Y'all going in today, like, for real. Y'all, people don't understand the severity of the information that they're getting at all. Like, they look at it as like just something to play in the background or something to listen at when you're driving in the car, but when you actually sit down and take notes and pay attention to what you're doing, you really have to be like, okay, am I really ready for all of this? Because if you're not ready to humble yourself, it's best you're not even bothered with this stuff at all. So, anybody think about taking a class or even talking to him, you got to be ready to bite that slice of humble power, else it's going to make you sick, like, completely. Right.
It will make you sit down.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to get that off. How y'all holding it down today? How y'all been holding it down?
All right, teacher. Thank you. Thanks for calling in. Peace. And then we've got one more caller from 347. I think I know who this is. 347, you're on. Peace. 347? Okay. I think maybe they muted themselves. But I think that was, there she goes.
Mute.
There you go. That's what I was
saying.
Peace, Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
How you guys doing?
We're
Good.
great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Listening to you guys. I always love when everybody's together, just building.
Yes.
I just want to
another everybody sees another doer of our new nation.
I'm another one. I got my humble pie and I ate it. No, but I just wanted to call in and to give thanks and to add to the conversation about, what kind of work this chief does to a person, because aside of everything that you guys covered already, I think one of the biggest things for me was finding out who I was. Well, I'm still finding out, but now I have a clearer picture.
Right.
And once you know who you are, you know who everybody else is.
Yeah.
And that's also important.
Definitely.
I mean, I don't know, I know that I'm honored and I'm humbled because I've changed so much in a year that I know that the people who have come together to be in Chief's class are not just any Joe Schmo off the street that is not willing to face their fears and have courage and really take their own lives by the horn. Because that really says something about a person, and that's something about everybody in this radio show. I mean, you guys are like the Super League, the Justice League. No, not Justice. That's a bad word. The team. You guys are the Heat team. Bring the fire. And
you're
I'm
included
so
in that too, Michelle. You're in that too.
I'm humbled about it. I'm grateful because it's not, man, I'll be another zombie. That's all I can say, And everybody out there listening that is still thinking about it after you've heard so many people talk about the amazing things that Chief and Anu Nation does. I mean, if you're not ready for it, you're not ready for it. But definitely do it. Definitely do it. Change your life.
Right.
And that's all I wanted to share. Thank you, family. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Anu Nation.
Thank you.
I hope you have a great Sunday.
You're welcome. Peace.
Peace.
All right, so another great testimony. Thank you to all the Anu students that are calling in and actually sharing. We've got about 90 seconds left. Are there any announcements you have, Taya or Zach, that you want to get out there real quick?
I'm going to just say, you know what, whoever you decide to learn and study from, make sure you check this person's character. Make sure you know what they're about. And just like you said, when you walked in the store and you seen these, you went into the produce section and you can't smell it, well, then there might be something off of what you're consuming and digesting. If you can't feel the authenticity of this person, and if you feel like this person, something don't smell right about this person, and that they're just regurgitating information, well, then something is not right. You need to you got to break this stuff down. You got some people that are just dumb, and they just don't get it. You got some smart people that can articulate it, but you know that they're full of BS. You got to be careful of these people because they're there to get you. So now you got to start to see if this thing has an integral structure and it has character. You got to check that, but if you can't you can't see it in them, well, then you got to check yourself and see what character you're bringing to the table. So whatever you decide, I'm not saying you have to study under Chief, but whoever you do, make sure this person has character. That's why when somebody says something like, oh, yeah, he's goofy, I'm going to let Chief say that, but if y'all come for me, I'm going to take you there. So just know that. There's certain people who can say something. Some other y'all come, all right, you better be ready to back it up. But anyway, just make sure the character. Just make sure somebody has character wherever you decide to study.
Right. Don't be afraid to ask questions and to check them out. And by the way, everyone, if you're on the call, go ahead and stay on the call. We've gone into archives. I'm going to take this last caller at 816, and then Ty, I'm going to let you close as well. But if you're on the phone, you can still listen in, but the show has ended. So I'm going to go ahead, 816, on Chief Speaks.
Peace.
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 Give thanks for taking my call. I called last Sunday of the month, and I'm free today.
All right.
This is the caller that
was Yes.
Congrats.
Don't take Dr. Martin Luther King, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty.
Yes, I am.
That's awesome.
I just wanted to say thank you because you guys helped me throughout the time that I had to listen in and when I could, and I just want to give thanks. You guys are all wonderful, and I really appreciate the love, and I really appreciate the knowledge, and I'm just thankful that you're here for me.
Thank you. I'm honored, and thank you.
Don't lose sight of those tools that you gained during your journey. Don't lose sight of that. Now you have to take it and apply it.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
So we'll be looking for you. We'll be looking for you for the classes or for the free classes or just joining A New Life Global. So definitely check us out. Don't lose contact.
I will not lose contact. Okay, thank you again.
All right. Peace. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Peace.
All right, that's awesome, man. She stayed in contact. So that sounds like somebody that's ready to get some things popping.
Already.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully she'll come around and get signed up with A New Life Global. Taya, did you have anything you wanted to add before we end the show?
Yeah, I just want to give thanks to all of you for being present with us. I will that this show inspires you to get out of that phase of being in triple darkness and that you actually move forward on at least one thing. I challenge you all to move forward on one thing that you may have gained from this. And maybe you start by just going into nature. Try to spend at least 30 minutes a day outside with nature. And then for all of those who would like to do more and be more active within our new outside of the classes, please email us if you're interested in volunteering. And the email address is organizer@onyourlifeglobal.org.
Okay. And I just want to add, do not sell yourself short or count yourself out. I recently saw Hidden Colors 4. And the thing that stood out to me most was something that Dr. Africa said. And he said, in the condition that we're in, if you really want to change the condition, we can't turn anybody down. So he was like, there's a place for the alcoholic. There's a place for the crackhead. There's a place for those people who have perms. There's a place for everybody. Everybody has something. Like he said, he was like, if they're alcoholic, they can make Molotov cocktails. There's a place, there's something for everybody. You can't discount anybody. He said, all you need is a few good men, just like, the Army or whatever branch of military that is. It says that. And so when you go to A New Life Global and you're filling out that form, tell us what you bring to the table. Nobody's judging you. That's one thing about Chief that is just totally amazing. Like, there's no judgment. He's not gonna look at you like, what? You got a perm? You can't be over here. There is no judgment at all. There's no judgment. So whatever you feel that you can bring to the table, fill that form out, let us know, and, come on over and build with us. There's no judgment. Like I said, there's a place for everybody. You'd be surprised. We all come into spirituality for different reasons. The reasons I came are not the reasons Taya came. Reasons Taya came is not the reasons Zach came. So we all have different journeys, and we start at different places. No particular person's start is more valid than the other. So don't discount yourself. Don't be intimidated. More than anything, don't compare yourself to somebody else. Don't be intimidated. We all have to start somewhere. So make sure you check us out at anewlifeglobal.org. Go to saduluhouse.com for classes. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube at Enlightenment and Transformation. Check out Zach's show. You can call in on my show if you want to make comments anytime about anything. That's on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 1 and 3 p.m. Eastern. And just look out, because our new nation is expanding every day. We're growing every day, and you definitely don't want to be on the outside looking in or saying, I should have signed up for that class. I knew I should have, So make sure you get involved. Don't be scared. All right. So thank you, Taya. Thank you, Zach. And thank you to all the callers and the listeners that supported us this strong. Thank you for listening in. Make sure you tune in next Sunday. We're going to explore a whole new topic with Chief Speaks, and we'll be back in the last Sunday of the month next month to go over it. So peace, everybody. Thank you for listening.
A new nation. We not only on your block, we taking over your city. Let go.
Oh, goodness. Okay, peace. Thank you.
Peace.
Peace, everyone.